Hey everybody. So I'm sitting here with Chris from Peaceful Human Advancement,
Mhm.
and I'm going to ask him the 3 questions. So Chris,
Mm.
what is your advice to people first starting out with contact?
So whenever people first start out with contact, the first thing I'd recommend is to remember and to know that when you're making contact, you're not making contact with like aliens or other beings. Like they're part of us as well, right? So whenever you can have the unity consciousness mindset coming from a place of no fear within your heart, really that's the quickest way to setting your mind right for making contact, right? So a lot of people they ask me like, oh well, how do I meet the ETs? Like I want to see them, and all this stuff, and I'm like, listen, be in a peaceful state of mind, right? Relax your body, just set the intention. Whenever you go out under the stars, just tilt your head up a little bit, set the intention. I'm ready for open contact from a peaceful state of being, and allow your consciousness to be open to whatever expands, whatever experiences show up. ETs and galactics can show up in a multitude of ways. So don't limit yourself to just seeing or a UFO in the sky. They can show up as sounds in your yard. I've heard them walk you around, within the perimeters of our yard. Um, I can go on and on, but the basis is to stay pure in heart and to be doing it from a place of nobility, right? To be wanting to have contact just as if you're going to go talk to a friend, right? So don't see them as something outside of you. That's kind of the biggest block because we get into what do they look like, where are they from, and that seems to be a big shield because it's more ego based.
For sure, for sure. And it also sounds like what you're saying too is just be open to the possibility that the world is much more that than we are taught.
It's so much more, yeah. And this is a big part of the work. Part of the biggest part of the work I do is getting people to move beyond the limited parameters that have been programmed in us since day one, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and really preparing humanity to become interstellar, right? But we can't become interstellar if we're still seeing this separation in our consciousness. Whether they are 6'5" and have scaly skin, whether they're 3 feet and have blue skin, it doesn't matter. Consciousness will take on many different forms in order to express and experience itself. So when we meet in that center point of pure consciousness of love, the unified field, uh, that is a prime way to initiate contact.
Awesome. Thank you for your advice. My
Yes.
second question is, what is your average contact experience like?
My average contact experience is we'll go outside at night whenever we put the kids to bed, and I'll just and telepathically say, hey, like just hey, how's everyone doing or something like that, and just set that heartfelt intention. And we're usually within seconds, if not a minute, get some sort of flash in the sky. That's not a plane, that's not a helicopter. The phenomena is very much different than the normal sky activity. So, you know, often the biggest, I think the most average is the flashes. They look like star flashes, like there'll be a bright flash. Then there's zips, so they'll zip through the sky, and then they do what we call starships. So you'll see it looks like a star, and it'll just pop up out of nowhere, and it's pretty dim. And then as you watch it, you'll think like, hey, is that you or something like that? And then it'll get really like it'll become so bright, and it takes over your whole entire being. So there's this huge emotional and intellectual like surge of energy that runs through you whenever you have this experience. And then often that huge light will start to fade out, get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then show up at a different part of the sky. So that's about average. I've been making consistent contact for going on 4 years or so. I speak with them in dream space. They're part of the ETT, so the ET therapeutic team that I work with. So, which is amazing. But on average, the lights in the sky is the average. It's kind of like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. And then you all see all the other stuff on Instagram anyway. So, more of the profound encounters that I've had.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have an Instagram account, which is really great. I love it. That's how I connected with you. I just
Yeah.
wanted to quickly mention, I just love the different terminology that everybody uses because everybody comes to this in their own way, and there's different groups all over the world. You said
Right.
star flashes, um, zips,
The zips.
and what did you call the lights fading in and out?
Um, so
Call that
those are
anything?
just like the starships. The
Okay.
starships, they just, they show up and you feel this energy, like it's so alive and it's so real. And anyone who knows kind of the deeper science behind these encounters understands that the crafts are manifest. They have their own consciousness, like they're part of the pilot's consciousness. They're not just like a plane that's just a piece of metal. This is uh this is what's the word, they're part of the ET's consciousness, so it's alive. It's not just like getting in a plane and turning on a switch and driving a car or something like that. So you
Yep.
feel it. It's really magical.
Yep. Absolutely. Very
Hmm.
cool. Okay. And so my last question is, what's your story?
What's my story? How much time do we have?
We can go as long as we want.
What's my story? So um so if we're going through how peaceful human advancement came about, this really started with something called the Heart Center, probably 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, where I knew I was meant to do something more than just what I was doing at the time. I was working in schools. I knew I wanted to be a teacher or play professional football. So coming out of college, that was kind of my big thing is, I have a chance to go to the NFL or go be a teacher. I remember the day I was in my dorm room and I was looking up on YouTube how to tie a tie and I couldn't figure it out. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to go do the job fair thing. Long story short, that same day there was tryouts to go to the NFL on the college campus. So I guess I'm not doing that either. And I said, what the heck? I'm just gonna go down to the career fair. Went down there and got a teaching job. That fell through after a couple of years. The universe kept showing me there's something more. There's something more. There's something more. I'm actually writing a book about all these
Oh,
experiences.
very cool.
Yeah, I'm not
Nice.
going to give it all away, but uh, really cutting to the chase, I have always had paranormal, supernatural experiences ever since I was a kid, ever since I can remember. Whether it was shadow beings, whether it was hearing things, having vivid dreams, astral projections. There's always something going on. But now I know I was just being prepared for what has become peaceful human advancement today. So we fast forward a few years after college. I'm by myself, kind of going through the whole dark night of the soul thing. No money, sleeping on a mattress on a floor, having super crazy vivid dreams. I never did any psychedelics or anything like that, so I didn't. This was all just self-induced experiences through meditation, through breath work, and I got to a point where I realized I'm here to be a teacher. I remember the day I set up chairs in my apartment and expected to have people like just come and where you just have a meeting or something like that, right? And so I got a huge download of information about humanity is now learning how to live from its heart space, from its heart center. And I was supposed to offer classes to people, but I wasn't supposed to do it alone. I was supposed to work with others and have all these different classes about telepathy, about remote viewing, about you know all these supernatural things. And I was like, wow, this is really amazing. One of those classes was ET contact and communication. And I was like, whoa, I hadn't yet opened up to all of that. So a couple years went by, no one showed up to these meetings. Eventually, I met someone on Instagram. We came up with the Heart Center, where we actually offered live online classes for people. It was really beautiful. We did that
Very
for a
cool.
year or so. I'm still in touch with a few of those souls, but we've since then kind of branched out. Um, and then I met my fiance, and we started watching Dr. Stephen Greer's work, and everything just kept coming, just flooded back. All the experiences as a kid, all the ET shows I would watch, all the experiences I had. And then we were sitting on the couch one night reading, where's this book? Chariots of the God, right here. So by Eric von Daniken. And we said, wouldn't it be amazing if we could actually communicate with them? Like we just really wanted to talk to the ETs and the galactics. So we're sitting on the couch and we hear like this sound, and we're like, where's that coming from? It was probably 10 o'clock at night. There was no cars going by. We live in the middle of Canterbury, Connecticut, very small town, not a lot going on. So we couldn't pinpoint where the sound was coming from. It was just kind of in the air. And if anyone's ever had a supernatural, paranormal, audible experience, you understand what I'm talking about. You can't like say it's over there or it's over there or it's outside or it's inside. You're just kind of feeling and hearing it. So we get this huge surge of energy, and then can't figure out what it's coming from. And then it slowly starts to fade out, right? And I look at my fiance, I'm like, I think they heard us. I think that was them, right? And at this time, we actually have a lot of ghost activity, but this energy was completely different. There's a big difference between the feeling of a spirit in your home and a multidimensional galactic being seeking to communicate with you. So that opened us up. We watched Unacknowledged on Netflix. A couple of nights later, I went outside to go. This is kind of funny, but pee off the side of my deck, because you can do that, whenever you live in the woods. So, and then I see this huge light rise up above the tree line. It's this huge orb, this orange yellow light, just kind of slowly start to rise up, and then it gets to about right above the tree line, and it stops. And then all of a sudden, it starts zooming across the sky. I'm like, Anne, you need to come see this. Come see this. And she comes running out, and she was able to catch the last bit of it as it moved across the sky. And then it slowly developed this tail at the very end, and then just kind of like faded out. And that was kind of the initiation into all these other experiences. I remember that night I had a dream about, it was called Peaceful Contact Initiative. And then I was told that it's supposed to be peaceful human advancement, and that's kind of how we got to be where we are today. And yeah, we'll be here all night if I keep going with the experiences. But that's kind of the background of all of it.
Very cool, very cool. And so what does peaceful human advancement do? Like what what is your service?
So my service is to prepare humanity to become interstellar. So I offer inner light energy tuning, one-on-one multidimensional guidance, telepathy development. We also do multidimensional question and answer, advanced manifestation. So I think that's all of them. But it's really taking people who've had their spiritual awakening, who are ready to step into their power as a sentient, peaceful ambassador, not just for humanity, but just for the universe at large. So I really feel that my goal and my intention in this incarnation, because I've done this countless times before, is to have people be so empowered that they don't need the work that I do, that they don't need anyone other than their sovereignty. So the work through peaceful human advancement is truly transformational. Like the testimonials are so powerful. Just today we were able to, so I work with the Galactics. They're part of the team I work with. I know where some of them are from. Their energy is always with me, but with the inner light energy tuning, what we do is we go in and we do aura readings. We prepare people, helping them not remove stagnant energy, because only they can really do that, but we kind of give them an energetic boost, right? And it turns into kind of a therapy session where we're able to know things and view things that the client is, ready to move through. It's very powerful. We did one today or the other day, and the woman had something going on with her lower back. Now, she didn't tell me this beforehand, right? So just through the ability to remote view and see beyond just with the physical eyes, this woman's living in Arizona, and she's an amazing being, beautiful energy. She didn't tell me anything about her back. I saw all this in the energy work. I said, okay, so what's going on with your back? We sent some light codes and some light technology. And the next morning, which would be this morning, she woke up. She said, Chris, you won't believe it, but my back is 100%. I'm like, oh, I believe it, because this is the new normal, right? So peaceful human advancement is exactly what it says, peacefully advancing humans into the next phase of consciousness, in short.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of what your story, why it resonates so much for me is because through my contact with Samoya Shelley Yates, do you know her at all?
No, I
Sh-
don't.
She did the Fire the Grid meditations back around 2007, 9, and 11, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Anyways,
that's awesome. Hmm.
yeah, like millions of people meditated at the same time and fired the grid around the planet to help move us into a new age. And one of the things that she told me fairly recently was that there are core change agents that are anchored around the world and ready
Mm.
to start their work. And I believe that you are one of them. You're one of the young ones that are coming to help assist us. So thank you.
Well, yeah, you have to tell me more about that. That's awesome, and I really feel that. And I know the work that Peaceful Human Advancement does is very specific and very special, but it's also ahead of its time. But I kind of have to be this way, the kind of the stubborn young person to get this energy moving in this new direction. So I would love to hear more about that because I can't do it by myself. I know a few others who are doing this kind of same work, but what you just said is really powerful. So what's her name?
Yeah. Oh, Samoya Shelley Yates.
Her name is
Samoya Shelley Yates. Yeah, I'll
okay.
put it in a link in the description, but
Yeah, yeah,
I'll text you later.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it really takes a special kind of person, almost with that like activist spirit or that
Mm,
perseverance and determination to really put yourself out there in the world and to
right.
be available for people. So that
Yeah.
is so excellent. Thank you so much. So if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
So Instagram is probably the number one spot right now. So it's peaceful.human.advancement, and then email peacefulhumanadvancement at gmail.com. YouTube, you can guess, it's Peaceful Human Advancement is the YouTube channel. So I've really done my best to streamline all this energy. You can also try to reach me telepathically because I will receive it.
Right on.
Yeah, which is the fun part. And can I take a moment just to say a few things to people who are going to watch this?
Please. Yes.
So whenever we are talking about peaceful human advancement, we're not just talking about the work that I do. We're talking about you taking the things, all the invisible stuff that you've ever learned about, the telepathy, the remote viewing, the levitation, as Dr. Greer says, the cities, right, of human consciousness. And you have to remember that you're spirit first. That's that's number one. You have to remember that you're spirit first. And if you can get to that point where you're not identifying so much with your body, with your form, with your ego self, all the other things start to come online, right? All the other things start to come online because you're now activating these higher functions of your being. You're literally lighting yourself up with light codes and light waves. So yeah, I just want to take this moment just to remind people like how powerful you all really truly actually are. So, and that's kind of the potential that I want people to reach is that the inner knowing, the inner fire, the inner spark that takes us to that next, to all this starry stuff over here.
Awesome. That is a beautiful
Yeah.
note to leave our interview on. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, Chris. Bless you and thank you for the work that you're doing. And
Mhm.
let's collaborate some more and find some more
Yeah,
core change agents out there. If you're out there, contact
yeah,
me,
that's
Chris. Like, let's get connected.
yeah, set the intention. So yeah, thank you so much, my friend. I think the ETT, the cosmic beings, the galactics, the angels, the spirit guides, all of you, we're all doing this together. We really are in this new age. So thank you, homies. Thank you, friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
If you are near Chatham, Connecticut, in 3 weeks from the posting of this video, Peaceful Human Advancement is having an event. That is the weekend of June 12th, 2020. It's called the UHA Weekend, United Human Alliance. It looks like the intention is grounding higher frequency into the new earth. It's a beautiful location and looks like a wonderful experience, including music, poetry, yoga, meditation, teach-ins about light language, channeling, animal communication, astrology, ET contact, dance, and more. You can go to their website to check it out. If you're curious about learning how to make ET contact and prove for yourself that the UFO phenomenon is real, you can go to etcontacthub.com where you can find diverse resources from all over the world teaching you how to make contact. Our group wrote a book as well, which is available on that website, and If you'd like to support us in continuing to provide you with content like this, or if you just want a cool t-shirt, you can go to our website and check out the merch. But most of all, I hope you're inspired to go out and make contact.